Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to SimpliFarms. Now, I put out a video earlier about growing pineapples and using the pineapple top, splitting it in half and growing multiple pineapple heads to where you can have multiple pineapple plants. And I received a lot of comments, a lot of questions, and I've been working my butt off in this yard all day. As you can see, I've been sweating all day. And I've gotten to the point where I was about to put this guy in the ground. And I decided, let me go ahead and answer some of these questions for you guys. I do appreciate all the comments, all the questions, so keep them coming. If you have any other questions that I did not address, go ahead and put them in the comment section below and I'll definitely get to them, all right? Now, first question that I've gotten is, can I grow this somewhere outside of Florida? Because there were people that were commenting from Washington State. Some people were commenting from Canada. There were some people that were commenting from New York, asking whether or not they can actually grow pineapples as well. Now, if you want to grow pineapples of your own and you live in an area that is, that you get snow and it gets really cold, you still can do it. However, you have to grow yours in a pot. The reason you will grow it in a pot is because once it gets a little too cold outside, you need to bring them inside. And of course, once the weather starts to get nice again, you can bring them outside and let them get the sun that they need. Which brings me to my next one. A lot of people were asking, should I put my pineapple in full sun or partial sun? I have pineapples in both situations. The pineapples that you see behind me are in partial sun. The ones that are across the way are in full sun, and they are both doing just fine. I have pineapples that are on top of these plants here. I also have pineapples on top of the ones over there. To me, it doesn't really matter if you have full sun or partial sun. You can still make this happen. Another question I was getting is, when do I know it's time for me to harvest my pineapple? Now, to some of you guys, you might say, well, that's kind of explanatory, but however, a lot of us have not really seen a fully ripe pineapple on a plant before, so I can understand why there's some question. Most of the pineapples that you are getting in your stores are picked quite early when they're still green, and then they get to the point where they start getting yellow in the store. Now, for me, because I have the luxury of actually having pineapple plants themselves, I allow them to get completely yellow. And when I say completely yellow, I'm talking about SpongeBob's house yellow before I even attempt to pull them off the tree. Now, some of us that are growing pineapple in the South or wherever you're growing pineapples, you might get critters, and it's very hard to leave a pineapple on the plant and it's partially ripened and try to keep critters away from it. However, I did find a little hack from a buddy of mine, Andre, I appreciate the info, that you can actually build a small cage or structure around your pineapple by using just a waste basket from the dollar store and a little bit of chicken wire and some cutters. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how that works. Hey, if you've been enjoying the videos or picking up tips on growing your own food or living sustainably, consider buying me a cup of coffee. It's a simple way of showing your support to the channel, and it also helps keep the content growing, literally. Just hit the link in the description. Thanks a bunch. All right, so what I do with this little waste basket is I cut out the bottom just to make sure I can get my pineapple to fit right underneath it. And I place this above the small pineapple, so that way as it grows inside of this basket. Now, the little piece of chicken wire that you're going to need is going to be for the bottom. What I do is I take this little piece of chicken wire, place it underneath, and then I cut a slit for the pineapple stem itself to fit right in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. I place the basket over the pineapple, then I slide this little piece of chicken wire right underneath, and that will protect my pineapple until it gets to a point where it's tall enough to where it's starting to get ripened, and all I have to do is worry about figuring out how to use more of the chicken wire to cover the top. All right, so that's how I'm able to keep my pineapples in the plant for a very long time, to the point where they're actually perfectly ripened before I pull them off the plant. Now, another question that I was getting is, well, if I pull off the top of a pineapple, do my split or not and I just took it and put it in the ground, how long does it take before I get pineapples? Well, it depends on the pineapple that you're using, okay? There's different type of pineapples. There's a cayenne, there's a sugar loaf. I actually have one of the sugar loaves here. There's different kind of pineapples and it varies. For example, my sugar loaf pineapple, it takes about 18 to 20 months from being a small little tiny plant to actually producing a pineapple. The cayenne, however, will take anywhere between 12 and 24 months. So it depends on the pineapple that you're using, but normally after your very first time getting pineapples from your plants, you should be expecting pineapples every year after that. Also, we'll be getting pups. Now, when I'm saying pups, I'm referring to this little guy right here. This is considered a pup because this side is the piece of the top of the pineapple that I split in half. And when I left it inside of this little pot, it grew this pup. And this is the pup that I'm going to take and put it in the ground. Now, personally, I take this entire thing and put it in the ground. And if it grows more pups, that's fine. But if it doesn't, I'm still fine with that. The reason why I brought that up is because there was a gentleman on the comments that was saying that he was able to get about 50 pineapple plants from one pineapple top. And I can tell you exactly how that happens. When you get these pups that starts to grow, you can actually remove this pup, plant it in the ground, and it will do just fine. Leave this piece, the piece that you started with, in the pot, and it will grow another pup. And it might grow another one, and another one, and another one. So you can absolutely, with patience, get about 50 pineapple plants or more out of one pineapple top. However, personally, I just split them in half, have 2 pineapple plants instead of 1. I'm okay with having 2 versus 1. Some people will split them in 4 to get 4 pineapple plants instead of 1. Personally, I'm okay with just this one. All right, so that's the reason why you will see a comment in my previous pineapple video where there's a gentleman saying that he can get 50 pineapple plants off of 1 pineapple top. Now, hopefully I answered everyone's questions. If you do have any other questions about growing your own pineapple or what do you do next, or if you're noticing something that your pineapples are doing that you're not so sure about, leave me a comment. If this is your first time on my page, welcome. If you've been on my page before and you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to like and subscribe and share the page with your friends. If this is your first time and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and take a look at the rest of the videos that I have on here and go ahead and subscribe because I will be bringing more and I don't want you to miss out, all right? So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's continue to sow and grow, all right? See you guys later.